Some remarks before we take questions.
Yep. So as good as last Saturday night felt, the positive energy and all those things that we got and felt a week ago, exact opposite today. So spent a lot of time in the locker room making sure we understood uh, why what happened. But just won our day. Hats off to Pitt. Really good offense. That Kenny Pickett kid is a really, really good player. Just manages to keep plays alive even when we have it covered. Then he breaks contain and makes really good plays. So hats off to them. Hats off to him as a quarterback. I went and sought him out after the game and just told him how highly I think of him as a player, and obviously wish him the best the rest of the way. Coming into this game, turnovers, including fourth down stops and conversions. We were up 45 to nothing, point differential off of turnovers, off of fourth down stops. Today we were 0 to 21. So sudden change defense. I don't think we created a single turnover, which is our hallmark, which is our standard. We get down 14 to nothing early, and against a explosive, dynamic offense and a really good defense that keeps everything in front of them. You cannot do that. Third downs, they were 8 of 15. Third and fourth downs, 8 of 15. We were 3 of 15. Right, got to convert on money downs. You got to stop them, and then again, red zone defense. They were 100% that last play. It shows up on the stat sheet, but they were 100% in the red zone today, and we were batting 50%. So, wasn't our day. Love those guys that are in that locker room, but just we got to be better. I've got to be better, and we'll get another chance this week coming up to go on the road against another ACC coastal opponent. So,
Okay.
you good, Mike?
Please raise your hand if you have a question for Coach Collins. We'll get you a microphone. We'll start right here with Ron.
Thank you, Bo.
Jeff, you had less than 3 yards per carry today. Their defense really made your offense pretty one-dimensional, and that allowed them to get some pressure on Sims.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good defense. It's been one of the top defenses in our league for a while now. They do a really nice job, and just we had some plays in the passing game. I think Mike said something about it was the most passing yardage by a quarterback in a while, but got to be able to run the football. And obviously, we think very highly of our running backs as well. We should, but give credit to them. They've got a really good front. They load the box, and they did do that. And so just we got to be better.
Kelly, I'm sorry.
Jeff, you had another touchdown. You had a couple touchdowns actually called back by some officiating. Kind of what was the explanation on the field? I know it was Zende's play, they blew dead, and then a hold.
I've got a tremendous amount of respect for the officials. I'm going to leave all the conversations that we had on the field between them and I. I feel like I handled some things much better than I have in the past. But just the communication, I'll leave with them in the ACC, however they handle that. That's not for me to say whatsoever. It's just Zende, it was a really nice play, really nice return. But they saw it and they called it, so that's for them to make amends or whatever they do. That is not for me to talk about or discuss. But just a couple of times that were self-inflicted things that were called back. We had a touchdown with Jameer and get a holding penalty. We're 3rd and 1 on the 1 yard line, and we get a false start. So we got to control. We can control all of those things. We've got to be better at. So I can't look anywhere else other than ourselves and how we can do better. And but there are some things out of our control that I can't worry about.
Mark.
Coach, you said you wanted everybody in the locker room to know why what happened. In 25 words or less, why did what happened happen?
Yeah, so turnovers, points off of turnovers, not converting on third down, not converting on fourth down, getting down 14-0 from the jump, that's hard to come back from. There was some fight. There was some grit, some toughness. Again, rolling a bunch of guys in. But the third down disparity, the red zone, and then turnovers, that's not a winning recipe, when you do those kind of things. So those are things that we've got to get better at moving forward to continue to develop and grow as a program.
Ken?
How much did not having Kenny and Ryan for part of the game factor into what you could do?
Yes, that was tough. Kenny Cooper has played really, really well for us at left guard, and not having him today, we had Paula Tuvevapulu got his first start, was in there as a redshirt freshman, battling and competing and fighting against a really good defensive front. Hats off to Ryan Johnson, hats off to Devin Cochran, battling throughout the game. I don't know if Ryan Johnson practiced more than 5 reps all week, but came out there and did all that he could to give us a chance. Jordan Williams went down. Nick Penley was in there battling for us as well. Mikey Minahan, hats off to him for just being in there trying to be a glue, even though he had some new faces around him. But just, they're really good players for us, right? Not having Kyrick McGowan, he's a really good player. But I thought Nate McCullum, Malik Rutherford, both got some burn. It was Malik's most significant burn, and I think everybody could see why he was so highly recruited by us. He made some really good plays for us throughout the game.
Patrick?
Coach Collins, one difference that really stood out from a week ago against North Carolina was the lack of effective pressure on the quarterback. Were you surprised by that, and what do you give that to?
Yeah, I mean, they're a really good offensive line. I said that going into the game. They're really good. They do a lot of unique things with their O-line. They're going tackle over this way, tackle over that way. They had a bunch of new formations, a couple of coverage busts early with some of those things. We got them settled down, but then Kenny Pickett could make plays with his feet and keep plays alive, and really good vision downfield. But, it wasn't our day. Hats off to them. Really good players, made some really good plays. So,
Raphael? Right here. You good? Okay. We'll go Jonathan, and then we'll come back to Kelly and Ryan.
Coach Jonathan Simmons from Real Talk Sports. I know it's a tough loss when you get beat like this at home, but what would be maybe 1 or 2 takeaways that you said, hey, this is something we can build on for the next game?
Yeah, I mean, just the way they kept battling, the way they kept fighting. We've got a really good team. They showed it last week. Today wasn't our day. Want to give credit to Pittsburgh. They played a really good game. They capitalized off of our misfortunes. So hats off to them. But the leadership in this team just stay together, bond together, all those kind of things that we've been preaching, and come out and get ready to play, because you can't be in your feelings too long, because you got another ACC coastal opponent on the road next week at 12:30.
Okay. We've got time for a few more. We'll go Kelly, Rod, and Ken.
I guess, Jeff, kind of how do you hit the reset now after a tough loss like this, where a lot of missed opportunities and it was very self-inflicted, a lot of it?
Yep.
Just how do you reset the team for Duke?
Yeah, so we just watch the film. I'll get in here bright and early tomorrow morning. I'll watch the film on my iPad today, have all the corrections, all the things that we've got to do better. We educate our guys. Our guys have a process that they've learned now. Hit the reset button and put the ball back down and go to work. And I do think we've got a team that understands that is committed to that. And even though today is not the result that we wanted, I love those guys in that locker room. I believe in those guys in that locker room. We've just got to learn how to not hurt ourselves and capitalize when we do get some good things going for us. So that's the thing that we've got to do starting tomorrow.
Rod?
It was a tough enough matchup for the secondary with receivers like Addison, but when Pickett can stand back there and have all the time in the world, what did you see from the secondary today?
Yeah, so I've already addressed it, but the last week, a lot of the focus was on Downs. You know, he's a big-time player, but I said all week that they are a complete receiving core, arguably have the best pass threat tight ends in our league, and they showed that today, and they were just doing a lot of new things, intricate things with the formations, and caught us especially early, but then Kenny Pickett can keep his, things alive with his feet. He does it against four-man rush. He does it against three-man rush. He does it when we brought five. He does it when we brought six. So hats off to him for being he's a really good player. But just stay in coverage, plaster the receivers. I thought two of them, we came out of coverage when he was running around, and we got hurt doing that. And so there's just lessons that we've got to continue to harp on with the guys.
Ken, you want to wrap us up?
Sure. Last week against North Carolina, it certainly seemed like you guys were the more physical team on both sides, and I'm curious if you thought that was part of the problem today.
I thought our guys played tough. I thought they played physical. Just some of the adjustments, that we'd worked all week. We got to make sure we're clean with those. And but hats off to Pitt, the big physical offensive line. They're good at what they do, and they did a nice job. But I thought our guys fought. I thought our guys battled. Just got to overcome bad situations and bad circumstances and not put ourselves in those moving forward, but we can still be a really good football team, and I believe in those guys in that locker room. I believe in the leadership in this program. That they'll make sure the focus is the right way when we go out to practice on Monday. Put this thing to bed and get ready for a good week of work and go on the road and play at a high level against another really good team.